Hello everyone and welcome to a new tutorial. Today we are going to see how we can link or create a relationship between two models in our database. And that's a very important feature because it helps us improve our database structure and make it more flexible and reliable. So to do that, first let's create, we previously created this car specs table or model, which includes some information about the car. So now let's create another model that tells us if the car has warranty or how many years of warranty, or if it has a finance plan. Okay, let's do that. Let's start by creating class and let's name it car plan. Okay, car plan, and this will inherit from models dot model. And let's add some fields here. So first field will be like the plan name. Okay, so the plan name, and this will be char field, and let's give it a maximum length of 20. That will be enough. And the next one will be years of warranty. Okay, years of warranty, and this will be, let's choose a positive integer, and let's give it a default value of 1. So it's 1 year of warranty. There's a default value. Finance plan, and here we're just gonna write if it's available or not. Okay, it's gonna be char field, max length 20, and let's give it a default value of unavailable. Okay, and let's define here string that will return the plan name. Okay, so right now we created this model here. Okay, for example, if I have a car, or if I'm buying a car, I need to know if this car has a finance plan, how many years of warranty, insurance, for example. And all this data must be accessible when I, for example, perform a GET request to get the information about the car. So in order to achieve that, we need to link this table here, or this model, to this model here, which is the car plan. Okay, to do that, we need to add another field here that will represent the relationship. And this field, let's name it, for example, car plan. And we're gonna use something called foreign key. Okay, that will take an argument. First argument will be the model that we need to link this car specs model to, which is the car plan. Okay, the next argument here will be on delete. Okay, so we have to define what's going to happen to this model if we delete, or this object if we delete the object, the car plan object that's linked to it. Okay, so we just need to, in this case, let's say if we have a car that has information about years of warranty and finance plan. So deleting this object from here, or a plan, mustn't affect the object in the car specs. I mean, if we delete the plan, if we have a plan in our database and we delete it, and that plan was linked to one car or two cars or more than that. So deleting the plan mustn't affect the cars object. That's why we need to define here on delete, and we need to choose an option which is set null. Okay, what that means exactly, it sets this field here to null if the object that's linked to it was deleted. Okay, so, and in order to get that to work, we need to add one more argument here, and which is null equal true. Okay, so with that being done, we are all set in our models.py. Okay, so let's save it, and to get that to work or to reflect on our database, we need to do the migration. So as we know, we spoke about this in previous tutorials, every time we edit our models.py, add things, add models, add fields, we need to perform the make migrations and migrate in order to build those fields and tables in our database. Okay, so to do that, let's open the terminal and let us activate virtual environment. Activate. Okay, I misspelled this. And let's navigate to our project folder, and let's run the make migrations, which is python manage.py make migrations. Okay, so the migrations were made, and now let's migrate. So now that our database is set and we have those tables in our database, we need to access them through our admin panel. So to do that, let's add the new model that we created, which is car plan, to our admin panel. Okay, and this is in the admin.py file. Just need to register it and save. And now we can run the server and see and add some data to the car plan. Okay, so let's run the server. And now we can go to the browser, and here this is the admin link. Okay, and let's sign in my API, put the password, and now as you see we have another option here, which is car plans. Okay, and here we can add some data. Okay, let's name this plan first plan, save it. Let's add another one, just name it second plan, and this will be 2 years and finance available. And let's add another one, let's name it third plan, and this will be the 3 years warranty and finance available. Okay, so now if we go, now that we saved this in our database, if we go to the endpoint of car specs, which is this, okay, if we check here, So what we don't have any information registers. We didn't store any cars yet. But what we can see here is we have the car brand, car model. Those are the normal fields for the model, okay, for the car specs model. But we don't see the field that we added recently, which is this field, the car plan. And that's because we didn't add this field in the serializer. Okay, so guys, always remember, if you add any fields in your models, you have to edit your serializer to accommodate that field, because the serializer is like a kind of a link between your view end or your front end and the database. So let's add here the car plan field and save it. I'm waiting for the server to rerun. Okay, and now if we go here and refresh, as you see here, we have our car plan field added. And if you notice here, it's a drop down. Okay, and that's very cool because it's already linked the car specs to the car plan model and give me all the available plans. So it's easy for me now. I can just choose the first plan, for example, fill this information here about the car, and then just save my new object. Okay, and as you see, the data we got back includes all the fields of the car specs plus the car plan. But what is this number that we see next to it, and what's this value? Okay, this value represents the ID of the car plan object. For example, the first plan has ID of 1, second plan has an ID of 2, third plan has ID of 3. So if we chose second plan, we would see an ID of 2, for example, here. Okay, so this, we can use this ID to, for example, after we receive this information, we know that the car plan has this ID of 1. So in order to get the information about this car plan, then we do another request with this ID to the car plan model, and we can get the data back. That's not practical because that requires 2 requests in order to get the whole information about this car. So the good option that Django REST framework provides in order to get the nested information here for the nested relationship is pretty simple. If we just come here and add something called depth equal to 1 and we save it, then you will see now that we will be able to get the information about the car plan also within the JSON data that we received from or the dictionary that we received from our database. So if let me do another request here. Okay, and look now, instead of having the 1 only, which is the ID for this object, we have the whole object, and there will be more practical to read if you're in the front end receiving data, so you don't have to do 2 requests. Okay, so now we have a better way of viewing our data, more readable and accessible. But if you notice here, we lost the car plan field after adding the depth 1, the depth equal 1. Okay, and we can't add it anymore, which means if I want to do a post now to add, for example, a new car, okay, let's say M4, yeah, and if I do a post request and to save the data, so I'll be able to save the data, but the car plan will be null and I won't be able to edit. And even if I do it through, let's say, a real life scenario or application, which we can demonstrate using the postman. I mean, if I add here another key, here I have all the car specs model fields added. If I have, I need to add the car plan field to it, okay, and I'm supposed to be able to give it the ID of the car plan, and it will be enough to save it in normal scenarios. For example, if I give it an ID of 2, this I'll get the second plan, for example. But if I do that now, okay, and if I perform this post request now, I'm gonna keep it on top just to make it easy to read. So it's gonna be the same sequence. If I do a post request, okay, to store this object in the database, let's send. So I get back a response that tells me that you have been able to store this object there, but it didn't read the plan. It didn't take it. It didn't see it as you know, as a valid field. So the solution for this is to override the create method or action in our view. And I have a video about that, a tutorial where I explained how to override the create function. Okay, so we're not going to go through that again, but we're going to do some modification to the action in order to be able to accommodate the new field. Okay, so if we go back to our views, so there's the model views. See, this code is from the previous tutorials where we overrided the retrieve and the create and destroy function. Okay, so let me comment out the create function. Okay, so here I have all the fields that's coming from the endpoint or from the request. So the only field I need to add is the car plan. Okay, let's add the car plan field. And the car plan field, it's not a string, it's not an integer, it's an instance of a car plan object. Okay, so the right way to do it is to get the object of the car plan model, okay, that's its ID equal to the value that I'm getting here through my request. Okay, so to do that, we can simply first import the car plan model here. Okay, I already imported it, and we can come here and say car plan dot objects dot get, and inside get we need to pass the ID of that object. So the ID of that object, it's here. We can get it from the car data that we're receiving through our request. Okay, in this case we'll be able to get the right data for this field. Okay, so we need to save this, wait for the server to rerun, and if we open our postman now and we add another car, for example, let's choose M3 for example, let's edit this. Okay, and all fields are set. Now if we perform a post request to this, so we get an error saying not enough values to unpack. Okay, let's see if we made any mistake here. Oh, we have to tell here that this value is for the ID, so need to add an ID equal. Okay, we'll tell the server to rerun. And if we come back here and we perform the post request, as you see, we have been able sorry, to save the object plus the car plan object that's linked to it, okay, or related to it. So basically this is how you can do it, guys, to solve this problem. So I think that's it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you for your time, and ask if you have any question, and until the next tutorial.